Greetings, everyone. A very warm welcome to another edition of Exhausted to Extraordinary, a mindset hack series with me, Dr. Sharon Grossman. And today we are joined by Julie Soukup. A very warm welcome to you, Julie, from Miami Beach. And where are you hanging out?
I'm in Denver, Colorado, where it's snowy everywhere. So I'm not in the same place as you for sure.
And it's funny because if you're watching this video, and if you're not, then I'm going to describe it. But I am in Miami, where it's obviously a lot warmer than Colorado, but I'm wearing this long sleeve shirt and Julie is wearing this tank top. So you would think we were in opposite places, but we're not.
Right. We're used to it, I guess.
Exactly. So that's kind of the irony of, I guess, of the situation. Like when you're in warm weather places, you expect it to always be warm. And then all of a sudden it drops just a bit and you're in like long sleeves. And then when you're in cold climates, you just adjust so well to the cold. So it's no big deal. Anyway, so I welcome to the show. And for those of you who don't know Julie, she is the VP of sales for a HIPAA compliant app called Medical Memory. It allows providers to video record their clinical consultations, informed consents, patient updates, and more. Understanding the need for effective communication with patient recordings, Julie hosts a communication excellence podcast called Take One Patient, where she discusses tips from industry experts about effective communication. And as a matter of fact, we just recorded an episode where I was sharing some tips on stress and management and burnout and all the things. So feel free to check that out. It's called Take One Patient. Now, if you want to learn more about what Julie does, she's going to share with us in just 7 minutes how to save time and stop repeating yourself. So Julie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Fantastic. Your clock starts now. And question number 1 is, what are the biggest challenges your ideal client faces?
I think that healthcare has really been stretched to the max, and doctors and nurses are being expected to perform at like excellence and elite with very, very, very little time. I think more and more time is becoming a luxury, and doctors are trying to do things easier and faster, but they're just stretched. And so I think what happens is they start to find themselves in this cycle where they're doing kind of the same things, feeling the stressors, feeling the time suck, and can't kind of get out of that. And so that's where we kind of got involved in looking at, what are the things that we can take off of a provider's plate or a nurse's plate that are more repetitive, that are kind of time sucks in their day-to-day life, so they can focus on surgery or patient care. And that's where medical memory really became an active tool for many providers, where we were saying, hey, docs, video record the same information that you're giving, so you're not repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Really with like, look at, okay, how do we really optimize the time that you have to do the things that you love and are best at?
So question number 2, what are the typical symptoms that they experience with that problem?
I think when you're stretched to the max with time, you feel overwhelmed, you feel exhausted. I think the little things that you don't love doing irritate you more than usual. I think you start also losing passion for the reason that you got into the profession, because potentially administrative tasks or phone calls are inundating you. So I think it kind of a lack of luster for what you're doing and feeling or overwhelmed and irritated really are those kind of symptoms there.
Yeah. And all the things that basically spell out burnout. So I love what you're saying. Question number 3, what are the common mistakes they make when trying to solve that problem?
I think that so often it's hard to look on the other side. I think a lot of providers tend to be, and nurses and hospital systems, sometimes are a little short-sighted and seeing, man, if I took the time to learn this or learn that, it would really benefit me in the long run. And so I think that kind of thinking like, oh, I don't have the time to try to take on something new or learn something new can be very short-sighted, when in the end, it would save you time, but also potentially give you that passion back, because it's taking out the monotony that you might not like about your job. I think the other thing is when people are thinking, tech and innovation has really, really improved across the board in any profession. And I think an old mindset is, oh, it's going to take so long to learn something. Oh, it's going to take so long to do something. And a lot of techs, our app included, is not that. It's 2 minutes to learn and go, or 20 seconds to do and go. And so it's always like learning something big is so overwhelming, but really it might be just a simple trying out a new tool might be the simple solution to really make you love the time that you have more in your day and minimize the things that are repetitive for you.
Absolutely. So 3 minutes, 37 seconds.
Okay.
And question number 4 is, what would be an example of a transformation that is possible after this challenge is properly diagnosed?
So I think that having the time to do the things that you love. A lot of our providers and nurses that started downloading medical memory and using it to record patient interactions were finding themselves not dealing with upset family members, not dealing with upset patients, really not having kind of that emotional drain that takes from the information they already gave. And so being able to have something where they weren't repeating themselves and everyone had access to the information, they were finding not only they have more time, but the energy to do and focus on the things that they really love. And so being efficient and trying new things would not only potentially give you more passion back in your day, as well as save that time on the monotony that you may not like as much.
Absolutely. Now, you've got 2.5 minutes left. And the next question is, what is the number one mindset hack you could give your ideal client to solve that problem?
I'd say just try it. Try new things. If you're looking at trying even medical memory to save time, go to the app store, download the app, like record your husband or your kid, just see how easy the use case is and do it once. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, why wasn't I doing this whole time? Repeating the same information is silly. So recording the same information you give once is that. So if I was going to try anything new, just take 5 minutes or 10 minutes to try something. I'm encouraging obviously medical memory and downloading the app, but anything, always look long-sighted. If it's not going to fit, it won't fit, but try something new. A lot of things are easier than what most people perceive.
Yeah, good call. Now, question number 6, what's the one valuable free resource you can direct people to that would further help with that problem? And you've got 1 minute, 35 seconds.
Well, we're going to give away 30 days free for any provider that is going to download and try to use the app. Now, we are already approved legally and tech-wise with Common Spirit, which used to be Catholic Health or Dignity. So if you are a doctor or a nurse in that big umbrella, we've already been approved legally and tech. So download it, try it, do it. And of course, private practices have a lot easier time being able to do that too. So we're going to give away 30 days. We're going to challenge you to take 5 minutes just to see and learn the app and see what you think.
I love that. And finally, question number 7, what's the one question I should have asked you but didn't that would give great value to our audience? You've got 51 seconds.
I think one thing would be like, well, what are people recording? I keep talking about recording. What are people recording? And what are nurses recording? And I think one challenge that we'd say is, even if you're hearing this podcast and you're like, I'm not ready to download the app, think of the ways of all the things that you find yourself repeating over and over and over again. And that's where our providers have really taken this tool and use it to their skill set and their specialty. We have doctors that record their informed consent conversations so that everybody has a copy of it. We have rehab and occupational and physical therapy, recording exercises, post-op spine instructions, post-op surgery instructions, discharge instructions, family updates for critical care, acute care, or NICU babies, where we're recording an update and sending it to your family members so they all have the same information. And it's been amazing to see the different doctors and different specialties that are taking their expertise and leveraging our tool to be able to have one recording that they give to everyone. So I would say, what are people recording? That's what's really been cool, is seeing what it is.
It sounds like there's a lot of different applications for this. So Julie, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing this with our listeners. And if you are a physician or a nurse, I really hope that you take this opportunity to check out the app. as Julie said, it might be just a matter of a few minutes to really get a sense of whether this is something that can save you lots of time and you can stop repeating yourself and hopefully find the joy back in your life. And I would love, Julie, if as an aside, if you guys gather any sort of data about before and after satisfaction for physicians and nurses, that would be really cool data to share back with us. Absolutely. So that we can really talk about that as a burnout prevention strategy, perhaps.
Yeah, and a lot of that information is on our website where they're saying, we show the data of HCAP scores improving, how much time is actually saved. If you go to www.themedicalmemory.com, there's a lot of that information, but I would always love to come back and talk about anything.
Love it. Well, Julie, thanks again for being here.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate what you do.